Hey everybody, welcome to episode 82 of Red Wings Rant. I did just look away so I could read that number and not get it wrong. We're tirades and impassioned, please. Have a home. Of course, again, talking about Red Wings Rant. Today we're going to be talking, finally, our NHL 21 conversation, so we can let you know more than a month in if you should unload and spend some cash. But we're also going to spend the Red Wings cash. That's right. We're going to spend all the remaining salary cap, or all that cap space for the Detroit Red Wings after Anthony Mantha signs. So of course, that also means we're going to talk Anthony Mantha's brand new contract, what that means for the Red Wings, and frankly, to me, what this says a lot about, because I think we all knew Mantha was going to get signed, about Steve Yzerman and what he thinks about Mantha and what he thinks about the rest of the Detroit Red Wings here. So sit back and relax here for a second. We do have one ad from the Hockey Podcast Network, the Fourth Line Voice podcast. Have a listen, and then of course subscribe if it sounds like fun. Ha ha!
Some enforcer-based podcasting coming at you, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network.
And now Semenko out in front of the goal, pounding away at Joe Poacher, who's down on the ice, holding the back of his head.
Actually, what really surprised me, especially with Twitter being like Leaf Nation, was Grimson over Colton Orr. That voting really surprised me. I didn't think that would happen.
Don't forget to catch the Fourth Line Voice podcast wherever you find your podcast, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.
Marc Bergevin. Everybody goes on and on with the whole PK thing and blah, and he hated him because he doesn't like fun and blah, blah, blah. I have heard from a few people that Marc Bergevin's hilarious.
No, this guy was a riot. You know, he would have to be at the bar, and he's like, "Oh, I just had a penis colada," and the girls would like give a double take and be like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I had the penis colada. It's not bad.
Enforcer-based podcasting wherever you get podcasts from.
Whoa! Haha!
Hey, Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Okay. Luckily, I've got my coffee and not a.
Ooh, what do you got over there? You got a little
not a penis colada.
Pork? I got a little panda. Look at that.
Oh, they're so cute. I mean, I think a panda was one of the or no, maybe it was a raccoon. No, I can't remember. And they put together bunch of animals to kind of create the porg, like they get their inspiration. Yeah. So I'm glad I brought that up because I don't even remember which animal it was.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg putting together like a walrus and a lion to make a T-Rex, and so they did like a cute animal medley to make the porg.
Exactly.
But yeah, so you're not drinking a penis colada? Are you maybe having a Dick Kiri? No?
Yeah, now I'm a fan of Marc Bergevin. All right, I'm kidding. Check out Fourth Line Voice, everybody, on the Hockey Podcast Network. Mike, we have a lot to talk about today.
I know, we got real news this week. Very exciting.
Well, Mike, I wanted to jump in first because I had some fun yesterday as a homeowner. Now, we're both homeowners. We get to have these conversations. How many trips to Home Depot?
You've been sitting on these for a couple of years, Matt. But while I'm buying my house, so I'm very excited to see what you have in store for me.
So the temperature this weekend in Michigan in November is 70.
Yes.
How many trips to Home Depot did you make yesterday?
Yesterday we did not make a trip. Instead, we cleaned the back of the refrigerator, which had never been done.
Nice.
We found pet hair from 3 different generations of pets back there. So that's exciting.
That's one word.
And then, a career highlight of mine, you brought it up. You asked what I did yesterday. So I did gardening shirtless, listening to the DuckTales theme on my cell phone. So I didn't have headphones on. Everybody was watching the shirtless guy listen to DuckTales and snip flowers in the front yard. So it was a pretty big day for me.
Well, I mean, if I had to guess what you did yesterday, that was not going to be one of them. But
shirtless DuckTales? Which actually, if I was really going to be true to DuckTales, I should have been pantless and just had like a blue polo shirt on or something.
Yeah, and you do your little duck wag while you're doing your gardening. All right. Yeah, for me it was I needed to rake, and then I put up Christmas lights, and so the Christmas lights thing, I should probably save this for Manscaped, but this morning I put my jeans, I just throw on whatever because we're going to record first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Put my jeans on. I fell into one of our bushes yesterday trying to wrap some lights around it.
Yeah.
And this morning I'm jumping down the stairs, like really hopping to and fro. And God damn it all to hell if I still didn't have some prickers in these pants that apparently weren't pushed down until this morning. So as I'm hopping down the stairs, I mean, it felt, I honestly thought there was a bug and I was getting bit because it was multiple little prickers from that bush just went, and I held on. Like, I feel like a man now, like a real man, because I didn't cry, but I did still look for attention by going, ow, which is my go-to. I don't know.
So it sounds like, I don't know, you're making up this weird gardening story. It sounds like you were just in a title match with Eddie Kingston last night. Is that what really happened, Matt? Did you go through some thumbtacks?
I think that would be preferred over how the real thing went down, and knowing that my neighbors probably saw me fall into my bush last night. I always think that whenever I'm doing outside yard work that I am the only, like, people turn off their televisions in the neighborhood because we have, like a cul-de-sac, so it wraps around so everybody can see each other's houses. Yeah. So I always just assume if I'm outside doing work, the entire neighborhood has shut down the TVs, all right, let's lock out the phones. I'm going to watch Matt do some more yard work. It's never pretty.
I like to think I inspired the neighborhood yesterday. Not until the shirt came off because my house it's almost like an island on a pedestal. And everybody can see me on the front yard. And then all of a sudden, everybody was outside doing yard work. So I definitely inspired people to get out there.
Yeah, if the new guy in town does yard work, that's when you start to feel guilty. All right, Mike, you said we have real Red Wings news. There's our banter. Now you know who we are. We're fun little giggle pussies.
Couple of ducktail lovers. So Anthony Mantha is a Red Wing for years to come. 4 of them, in fact. Matt, I don't know if Anthony Mantha just wanted Steve Yzerman to get a good Black Friday deal, but holy God almighty, why did he agree to this? It feels like a discount to us.
It is.
So the annual value is at 5.7. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll push back just a teensy bit. Now we did another video. If you guys want to check out our YouTube channel, where I looked at just like with Tyler Bertuzzi, we created this model that shows the projected points, or I'm sorry, the projected dollar spend per point. So this is how much every team is spending to get a production of individual points out of a player. So not necessarily a point in the standings. This is a point of goals and assists, whether or not it's the first or second assist. It's how much you're paying to get one of those points. So essentially what we're trying to say is, which team is getting the most value from a production standpoint, out of their players. And Anthony Mantha is still, he's about a $10,000 savings based on the average number being 100,000, and he's right around 90,000. And Mike, I will say, if you want to go check out that YouTube channel, I am still perfecting that model. So I'm doing, as we talked last week about Don Luszczyszyn from The Athletic, I started putting together some weighted averages too. So I'm putting more weight on the last 3 years, which I think is more accurate, right? Like we're going to analyze a projected point total for any of these players that I'm analyzing on our model. So I took some lessons from Dom, and I like to think that the model's even better. So I use those weighting the last 3 years along with career stats and giving a little more weight to the last season we're projecting what the points are going to be. So as you watch the YouTube video and you move along the line and you see the weighted projected point totals and then mixed with the dollar spend, again, that's how we came up with like this average for who these comparable players are for Anthony Mantha. Again, that average came out to be over 100,000, and Anthony Mantha's number, should he follow along the line of this projected total, which again, I think I'm not, it's not perfect. I'm not done with the model, but right now it's been improved week to week. And it does show Anthony Mantha is a $10,000 savings per dollar spend on every point. So I mean, it's a victory again for the Red Wings, but I think compared to what Tyler Bertuzzi, like what happened with Tyler Bertuzzi and where we could have seen that number, and kind of, I think it's probably just the higher you get with the salary, like the standard deviation starts to shrink. So it's still a great savings for the Red Wings, but I think Mantha gets a little bit closer to what he should have been paid compared to what Tyler Bertuzzi, that result. He probably should have gotten more years. He should have more security as he goes day to day in his life. And he probably should have a higher dollar number, but we talked that ad nauseum. So
no, I just want to make sure we didn't not reiterate that point. It kind of feels like the contract lengths should have been flopped, but still the same average annual value. Mantha getting 5.7, maybe 1 year. Can you give us 1 year without a boo-boo? And then Tyler Bertuzzi, a little bit more length. I guess what they see is Anthony is more of a long-term thing, and they know that he's like a talented guy. He's just got to, keep that duct tape and spit together, for the whole season. Come on, man, you got it.
Right. Yes. No, I mean, that is the best point. And I think it's been brought up a teensy bit, but we really got to lay into the fact that Anthony Mantha is injury prone. So, like, again, I came along the line of like, all right, here's what happens if, like, this is the problem with the model, right? So I said, this is what happens if Anthony Mantha finishes a season. Here's the points, right? And we don't know. What is Anthony Mantha ever going to look like if he finishes the season? We just don't know. But
I mean, part of the thing is he's such a big dude, and I think what he does is he just leans on that, and he's kind of to do like a superstar NBA comparison, a little bit like Russell Westbrook, who just plays with reckless abandon, just crashing into the boards and killing himself against other people. It's almost like we got to tell Mantha, listen, you're like our maybe our most skilled player. Just, I know that you want to prove that you're a big boy, but just take a step back. We want you for the whole season. We don't want you to murder yourself in game 4, of the regular season. It's a long, long journey. We got to go all the way to Mordor on this one. We're not just leaving Hobbiton to, Farmer Maggot's farm to get pumpkins. We gotta go all the way. So just easy. Take the Samwise route.
So another element of this that I thought was kind of fun was that Mantha said he asked for 7 on 7. So he wanted $7 million at 7 years. And I don't know if we want to play the game. Did we go in the middle, or did Mantha just decide to go closer to what Yzerman said? Because what is Yzerman throwing out as a dollar amount, like on that first contract, right? Or did Mantha just make the concession from the get-go and just go, yeah, that's about right. So basically what I'm saying is, did Yzerman throw out $5 million and then they decided on 5.7? Because again, that's another major win for Yzerman. Another one where we didn't get close to, or we got close to the midpoint, but we're not even at the midpoint where that could have been 6 million.
I love like a misunderstanding leads to that. Like Mantha's phoning into his agent. All right, let's put 7 out there. And 5. Yzerman's come back with 5, and then his agent's like, all right, so it looks like we're gonna have a middle ground. It's gonna be 5 and 7. Nice. So like 6? No. So it's going to have 5 and 7 in the number. Maybe I didn't explain myself. So it's going to be 5.7. That's not in the middle. But you agreed to it, right? You said 5 and 7.
Touch piece.
Touch move. You can't undo it. Yeah. I already virtually e-signed you. God damn it.
It's done. That's how Zoom negotiations work now. It's a tough game. That's
Also,
why Yzerman's been so successful.
One thing we got to follow up on: are contracts e-signed like a mortgage, like during COVID?
Oh, that's a great question. We used to get like those cool videos on like DetroitRedWings.com or whatever. Or you know what? I think more recently it was just me seeing it happen with the Detroit Lions, but they bring the guy in and they're like, we can get content out of that.
Yeah, like WWE.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like AEW was they were doing that all the time. The next big signing of some indie wrestler you've never heard of. What? No way.
And it would be like this like $80 leather-bound book. But then on the inside, it's just like one piece of white stock paper from Dunder Mifflin. Not even like the header of the company name.
72-point font. Sign here. Show it off. All right. Mike, another fun element of Anthony Mantha signing is it gave us more opportunity for content on Twitter. Yay! So let me see if I can. Is this going to let me share? I'm sorry. One sec here. There we go. We did our Be the GM for the week. Yes. Oh, shoot. Oh, God. Oh, what am I doing? Let me back up. Oh, my God. Everybody hang on. Because we're going to play Be the GM. I did it again where I went.
Good music.
All right. That should be when I pull up and share the screen, right? When that's going down. Okay, here we are. Woohoo! We did it. Be the GM. All right, let's make that a little bit smaller. If y'all can see, this week's Be the GM, which element of the Mantha signing is the most important to the Red Wings? And nice simple list here. The AAV, of course, the $5.7 million. Avoiding the Larkin UFA season, which is just in reference to Larkin's contract ending, and then Mantha's is ending the next season, so you don't have to worry about signing both of those guys. Contract year timing. So you can see actually in my, if you scroll down a little bit, if you guys go look at that tweet, contract year timing coincides with the potential for huge numbers. And by that, I mean you could see Lucas Raymond, Seider, and Mantha all in a contract year. And Mike, as we all know, players like to perform a little bit better for some reason on their contract year. And number 4 is locking in a top 6 forward. So Red Wings faithful, they like that AAV and they like locking in a top 6 forward. Not too excited about, that it doesn't matter too much to the Red Wings faithful about avoiding the Larkin UFA season. And I don't think anybody understood what I meant by contract year timing. So that's another element of that. But yeah, let's, you want to chit chat about it?
I gotta say my top priority was the average annual value. Just historically, and we're still waiting for next season to come to pass. Just because this one was pretty good. We had a lot of cap space, a lot of contracts falling off, but we're gonna have even more next year. So I knowing that Mantha is going to contribute to cap flexibility for Steve to have some moves, and I know we're going to talk about how we could spend the rest of that money here in our coming segment. But this contributes to it. You get one of your core guys, you get them around for not too long a deal. It's not one of those 7, 8, 9, 10-year deals.
Right.
And I'm just, it's hard to just pick one out of this list, honestly, but I'll say the average annual value because we've just been getting spanked in our bare butt, balls, and back on a lot of these Red Wing deals. So I'm happy right now.
Well, I'm going to go, and this has a lot to do with like projecting where these players are going to be at, but I actually, a little bit of this is me like patting myself on the back because I thought of it while I was watching the Steve Yzerman press conference. But when they started talking about the 4-year deal and avoiding Larkin's contract year, then you start thinking about how is the Lucas Raymond contract going to work out? Does it make sense for Seider to maybe not start with the Red Wings this year? Because it seems like they have enough guys to fill out a roster without him. So by that, I'm just saying, like, are we not going to see like that cut into the Cider contract signings yet. Those RFA deals where you can push them out an extra year if they're not playing those 9 games. Of course, we don't even know how that's going to change based on everything going on with COVID. So all that being wrapped together, there is that potential, I think, to see on the same season, Mantha, Lucas Raymond, Mo Seider need to get paid, and that could be a problem. But I also see it because they're all going to be hitting like this potential point, right? This is going to be that last chance for Mantha, statistically, based on his age and when players start to regress. That's going to be that last chance to get the most out of Mantha. But then, Lucas Raymond, that's going to be it right there. That's going to be him hitting his prime. And gosh darn, if you want to see, a guy starting his prime and knowing that a big contract could be on its way if he has an amazing season, I just kind of thought, like, all right, we've been playing this game of 5 years last year before we're playoff contenders, or 4 to 5. And then this year we have to follow along that line and say Red Wings Rant says 3 to 4 years if we're going to say anything mattered in the last season of the podcast. So that means we're going to get those awesome contract year player productions right when everything's supposed to be coming together. And we're even going to have another draft pick under our belt too. So honestly, I thought I saw that as number one, because that now becomes that season where we could be more than just those playoff contenders and kind of take a big jump. When you see those guys, those teams that are just talked about being in the bubble, and then all of a sudden they're challenging for first place in the division all season. I think that could be us.
I'm ready.
Look, we've been pessimistic for a year and a month now, so I think now's the time where I go, that'll be the year. That'll be when Mantha's like, oh shoot, I've been injured these last 3 years. I got to get paid this year. So Mantha's going to make it through a season. Our rookies are going to do great. That 4th year on that contract, I'm telling you, everybody, that's going to be playoffs. That's going to be the potential for us to finally be back in it and make our mark. And then, of course, that'll be when Yzerman gets his real test. Do you reward Mantha at that point? And what are you going to do with all them rookies? Current rookies, of course, at the time. Hopefully they're 3-year vets. Anyways, I thought that was the most important. But I'm ready
it's just there's so much good. You can't really have a wrong answer with that debate. There's so much good out of it. Yeah.
That is a more fun question to analyze, I think, for all the fans, is when you get to go, how good is everything?
Right.
Everything hasn't necessarily been so great. Mike, another thing I want everybody to check out is bodpodcast.com. We didn't mention it at the top of the show, but let's take a look. If y'all could, it is bodpodcast.com, where we host all of our conversations and blogs and all discussions about pro wrestling, and of course Red Wings Rant, as you can see on the screen now. At this site. What am I talking? Okay, there we go. So what I want you guys to check out, we do have the realistic opening night lineup for the 2021 Detroit Red Wings. It's kind of weird to say 20, like we're not saying 2020, 2021 anymore. We're talking like, all right, season starts in January, so strictly just 2021. Nice and easy. It's like baseball. Any hoozles. Who's that opening night lineup? And we've got Jesse Beck putting in the work, putting together what I thought was a pretty great lineup. I'll give you guys a teaser here. We scroll down. He has, there's a lot that he went over. So this was not just an easy, let's go to Cap Friendly, let's go to Hockey Reference, and I'll pick out some guys. This is legit. So just to give you guys a quick look, I won't let you see that full lineup there. But the first line, and then you guys can head on over and check out all the analysis. First line forwards, Bobby Ryan, Dylan Larkin, Anthony Mantha, of course, newly signed Anthony Mantha, as we just talked about. I say you guys want to go check this out. This sort of seemed like a challenge among all Red Wings content creators to make sure you got a lineup out there. I can't find too many holes, but I want you guys to take a look. Let us know what you think in the comments for this blog, and how would you change things for this lineup, or is it perfect? Anywho, check it out, bodpodcast.com, brothersofdiscussion.com. You just want to click those links to go to Red Wings Rant. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind y'all that we have our shop open. And if you are a Red Wings Rant faithful member, we do have this sweet-looking mug that I'm a huge fan of. Mike, I can't wait for my tethered sweatshirt pullover hoodie to show up with Red Wings Rant in the center there. We've got those 3 different colors for you to pick from. I'm not gonna look quite like that. There's gonna be more of a tummy in the middle area there, but
well, that's where all the snacks go.
What was that?
That's where all the snacks go.
Exactly.
Thank you, Toby. You're welcome. All right,
But yeah, check it out. bodpodcast.com, brothersofdiscussion.com. It is live, ready to go, and ready. We're ready for your support. That's right. That's where we're going. All right.
Oh, go ahead.
So, Mike, we have what I want to do. I don't know how deep we want to dive into this, but Yzerman said Dmitry Timashov is exploring other options. Maybe he's not seeing a spot for him on the roster. You know, maybe he's like me. Maybe he's more like looking inwardly and going, "Can I do the job?" I'm just kidding. I feel like I'm the only one who ever struggles with that. But anyway, could be some changes to what the lineup projections that we have on bodpodcast.com just based on that statement. I know he's doing pretty good on my NHL 21 franchise, which we'll get into in a minute. But Mike, I might need to reset the franchise to make it more accurate and remove Timashov based on what Stevie Y put out there in his press conference this week.
Well, I guess I don't know if he thinks he's not quite at the Svechnikov level. Evgeny, I'm talking about on our team. Not the good one. You know, I would, if I was him, the Red Wings, we've had a lot of injuries. There's a pretty good chance you're going to be playing, at the major league level. I don't know if I would be making this move. I don't know if a lot of teams are clamoring for what he's, offered on a resume so far. So I would be, making calls to, the Ottawas of the world, maybe the Rangers, before other real prospects start getting call-ups. But as far as icing a team, that means that almost anybody can make it. You can make it. Just a little bit of effort, and you're on.
We're speaking into the camera. You.
Anthony Mantha's, we've seen how quickly he gets hurt. Like a week into the season, you could be on the first line. So I don't know. I if I was his advisor, his agent, I would, maybe one more year, with the Red Wings, and
we really have
contribute on the stat sheet before you start shopping yourself around.
And we really have no idea what's going on here. I mean, it could just be him looking at what's going on in the U.S. Maybe he was waiting to see who would win the election. Maybe now that Biden's president, he's like, hey, this will all get figured out finally. Quick shout out to anybody that voted Biden. Any hoozles. That could have been, that could be the case. He's just like, all right, this situation in the U.S. is so screwed up. I can't put in a long-term contract right now. I have no idea what the hell's going on. As other Red Wings are playing in other countries right now, right? So what is he in a rush to sign with Detroit to just have a contract with us, and then we can loan his rights out to somebody else? Maybe not the best situation in the world for him. So I totally understand. It's not anything where I think they're anywhere near like cutting his name off of, that the list of who could be filling out a roster. But Mike, you want to make sure that you're cutting off that
your ball hairs.
Wait, what do I say? Avoid the tickle and shave your pickle. Was that what I said?
Don't bleed from a nickel. Shave that pickle. Something like
that. Of course, we're talking about the Lawnmower 3.0 from Manscaped. Mike, we had a wonderful review of the podcast this week, which actually reminds me of another bit of advertising to go over as well. But hearing from the UK Red Wings fan Twitter account, letting us know, like you always hear, from folks like, oh, I love the show, or it's such a fun listen. But we got the evidence that actually a listener, because they said, I enjoy listening to your awkward lawnmower 3.0 advertisements every week. Where I think everybody just a little bit, like you either getting queasy or you're just like, do I hit the 30-second forward button? But honestly, folks, it gets awkward because it gets real, right? We get real with the lawnmower 3.0. We tell you what it's really like.
I know that I feel kind of bad because it's mostly for men, but when you get that fresh haircut and not necessarily a buzz, but it's just kind of short. And it kind of feels like that bunny fur stubble on the back.
Yeah.
It feels really nice. And the other day I used my lawnmower 3.0 and I had the same effect on my balls. So I was just sitting there kind of like, not like in a dirty way, but I was kind of like, oh, I did a good job. I got a good little,
I was going to say,
barbershop haircut. Yeah.
This is quickly turning into, pet house forum. So I was at home petting my scro. Anyway,
you're gonna like how the lawnmower treats you. That's all I'm getting at.
If you guys want to have a soft patch of grass, head on over to manscaped.com. Use promo code THPN, get 20% off and free shipping. The Lawnmower 3.0 package. We've talked about all the fun goodies that comes along with it, so you guys got to check it out. Manscaped.com.
Love that ball lotion. Yeah.
Oh yeah, deodorant too. That's a good one. Lawnmower 3.0 package at manscaped.com. Use promo code THPN to get 20% off and free shipping. I guarantee your balls will thank you. All right, Mike, we're back. But here's the thing. I did kind of forget we have another item to discuss.
Yes.
So what
those remaining funds on that cap sheet, man. You pose the question. You get to pick two things that Yzerman will do with the remaining funds. Now, you took some pretty diligent notes. I have some secret sauce on my side, too. I'm pretty pumped to share. But, Matt, you pose the question. Two things that you want to do. It looks like the Red Wings are, after the Mantha signing, they're at like 71. I believe the cap space they have left is about a little under 10.
Are you getting that from Cap Friendly?
Now I am. Yes.
Yeah. So
it's a little under 10. They got like 9.5. But there's some moves to be had. We got like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got like 12 guys who are going to be unemployed next season. So there's definitely room to shed a few of these if you want to do something a little more exciting. So maybe that's the route I took.
All of this comes from the Steve Yzerman quote. Okay, and if you hadn't seen it, this is what Steve said. There's a lot of players still on the free agent market. I'm going to pause right there. That is for Steve to say that now is huge. Like we kind of been looking at this roster the last couple of weeks, and we pretty much said it's all set, and we've just been waiting for Timashov and Mantha to sign contracts, and then we were like, all right, then we'll get rolling into whenever hockey's going to start again. But for Steve to say there's a lot of guys on the free agent market still, that's where you're like, okay, so we're not done. We've got apparently, either seventh defenseman or we've got some forwards that are going to rotate in and out that we weren't necessarily anticipating. We have a lot of bodies right now. This is Steve continuing. I do think there's room potentially to add, and I would consider it as we go along or when we get closer to knowing when we're going to start. As far as the trade market, it's pretty quiet around the league. Certainly, we'd be open to listening. That one is still just talking about weaponizing the cap. And I think a lot of the trade market, Mike, is going to come from some of these restricted free agents that still need signing. Elias Pettersson, Matthew Barzal on the top of that list. Going to put teams who aren't even over the cap, which Vancouver is, but somebody like the New York Islanders are definitely going to have to go over the cap to make sure they sign their superstar forward. So that's where the question came in, Mike. What are we going to do with the remaining funds? Not only do we know there's teams that need to make cap space, they got to make room, but we also have Steve Yzerman just throw it out there. Shoot, I'm still looking at free agents, so we're not done.
I love that news.
You sound excited.
the most like my favorite part of sports. I mean, the playoffs are great, right? But arguably more exciting for me is every offseason and kind of watching teams reshuffle the deck, the player movement. I would rank that above the playoffs. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the video gamer inside me who every time maybe I have a player on my team who had one bad game and then I put him on the block and see what he's worth. That's my favorite part. So, Matt, I know you got two guys that you're eyeballing over there. Maybe a couple moves. Matt, what do you got for us?
Well, I was pretty hot on this guy, especially considering he's going to go and do the whole signing thing himself. So everybody who's, those hardcore hockey fans already know I'm talking. Anthony Duclair. So we didn't get, what do you call that? Not the offer sheet. What do you call that when you're a restricted free agent? Ottawa needs to send out the what you have it, and they did. Oh, whatever. So he's an unrestricted free agent now. He can, there's no issues with Anthony Duclair signing anywhere. He can do as he please, and I think right now what we're seeing is either it's tough to do this when it's just the player, or we're not seeing a ton of interest for Anthony Duclair because we don't see a lot of conversations going around on like the rumor mill or anything. So I want to do what Steve Yzerman said and wait till we get closer to the season, because I think the amount that he's going to be asking for is probably just going to keep going down. So I'm a fan of Anthony Duclair. Again, I've mentioned before, and we've had Senzauer podcast through the Hockey Podcast Network kind of give us their take, where they're not super huge fans of Duclair. And essentially, Mike, you could make the argument we would just be picking up another Andreas Athanasiou. But I think it would be something that makes sense for where the mindset always is for Steve Yzerman, like getting these guys with the potential. And the longer we wait, I think the more he's sweating, the cheaper that contract's going to be. The only issue, like as I've been doing some research online, a lot of folks kind of think that this is going to be a longer term deal for Duclair. So if it is long, avoid it. If you can get him short, cheap. I like Duclair. We saw him again. We got the up close personal look where his best games last season were against us. So, ow. So like again, we kind of have this look of Duclair that it might be different across the league from everybody else. But maybe it's Little Caesars Arena, and if he plays 40 games in there, it's let's see how many goals did he score against us. So that's about 120 goals. The production. I'll take it. But part two here is like I mentioned, Brock Besser is going to be. Oh, let me back up for the Vancouver Canucks and signing Elias Pettersson. The rumors have been swirling that Brock Besser's on the market. I think that's an option, but that seems more along the lines of where we talked about like this timetable for the Red Wings. You go get a Brock Besser in a couple of years. I don't think right now is the time. But I do think, as I mentioned a few months ago, I might. It's 2 years. It's $6 million, but we have a ton of cap. I'm going to say Louis Eriksson, and I think you can get more than one draft pick. And again, we're talking about bringing over, weaponizing the cap space, bringing over a player, and getting some draft picks to take over some cap space so that the Vancouver Canucks can just benefit and be able to sign their players. But you do Louis Eriksson because I think you're getting more than one draft pick because it's a 2-year deal. And I think Steve gets to sit there and go, look, these other weaponized contract trades, you get one high draft pick, and that's because it's only going to hurt the other team for one season. But this is really, this is going to crush the Red Wings for 2. So I do think that is why I want to look at that. And it's something too. Maybe you're even talking like 2 first-rounders because you're going, shoot, I got to spend $6 million for 2 years on this guy. And I think that still works for the Red Wings. And I'm fine with what it does to our cap space next season. So those are if I'm going to spend the rest of this cap. And again, everybody in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. What are the 2 moves you'd make with this cap space? But I'm going Anthony Duclair because I think that can be had cheap. Louis Eriksson, even though it's really going to hurt us for 2 years, we're not going to win the cup in the next 2 years. So cool.
I'm in.
Mike, what you got?
Man, I got a couple moves for you too. I think one of them is definitely 100% much more conservative than the other move I'm going to suggest. But something that Steve's been doing, kind of doing this roster is he's been buying low. He's been buying low on people who, maybe have not had, maybe great luck, or maybe their last season wasn't that great. We saw it with, they tried it with Perlini, it worked with Robbie Fabry. They're going to try it with Bobby Ryan. And I think another guy who's still kind of hanging around. He's still out there. He had kind of a rough season last year. Only put together about 30 points in 63 games. So not quite the level that he's performed at in the past. And we don't really have any centers. So I would take a look at Michael Granlund. See what he wants financially.
Yeah.
Especially if he. He's still out there, another week goes by, maybe a month goes by, and he's still not quite getting the phone calls. And Uncle Steve pulls that, shrewd negotiator cap on and, seduces Granlund to come be our second line center, maybe. Potentially adds a lot of depth. And, maybe his pucks and nets, weren't as impressive, but Corsi at like 52 last season, not god awful,
it's great. It's really good. He's a solid possession guy. I think don't sell him short on that. That is a good number. That is a good pick.
Yeah. So that one I think is much more feasible. Now, my other one, Matt, this is the big sexy. This is Kevin Nash stepping over the top rope on this one. Now, it requires a lot of emotional manipulation. It requires a lot of furrowed brows and a lot of fuck yous and for this to happen. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still in the realm because, it turns out hockey players are people and they do get pissed off and they do want to move. So this guy has the NMC in his contract. So he gets to, play the veto game.
Yeah, you know me.
Sorry. Yeah. So
yeah, you love
Matt,
that.
It would, I really no sold that one for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Shut up, Matt.
If we do this, that means another move would have to happen. So we'd have to do a subtraction to make this work. But Patrick Kane might be on the market because he's really upset with the Blackhawks being in rebuilding mode, knowing that they have a Kane on their payroll and a Taves, among other people. So if he wants to get moved to another team, the only way it's happening is if he says it's okay. And I gotta think, if he's going to go somewhere, we've seen that these seductive powers of Yzerman, I don't know what kind of voodoo he's pulling out there, but it's working. And if Kane says, you know what, Chicago, you guys treated this season like crap. You looked at, how much hard work I do in the offseason to score like 100 points a year, and this is what you're going to do to me, is completely dismantle our team and then make just me and poor John try to carry us into like an 8th or 7th seed. I'm out. I want to go to Detroit, and you have to trade me because I'm sitting out. I'm not playing. I don't care what you do to me. I don't care if you deduct money. I'm not playing. So
I loved your Granlund take. I think there's a great argument to make that really helps the Wings.
Now, here's the thing. Now, if we just signed Mantha, right? So we're looking at like 3 or 4 years here with Mantha, Larkin,
right?
And then we got a bunch of guys dropping off next season. We would have to, have somebody help us out and move one contract. We'd have to give up maybe 1-2 of our young forwards. I'm looking at you, Veleno. I'm looking at you, Rasmussen. Really, start showing.
Rasmussen, no problem. Yeah, Rasmussen.
The only thing is, we're looking at next season, for example. We have our 1 first-round pick, and I talked about, I brought it up, emotions being high. And maybe Yzerman is just like, you know what? We're not getting a fair deal in this goddamn draft lottery. Fuck it. I don't want another top 5 pick. I want number 1 or 2 or I'm out. And if you get Kane, you are getting a top pick.
Yeah, but he's 30. He's 31.
He's 31. Matt, in the NHL, that's the new 21.
No.
So what you do is you throw in Veleno.
Drop off. Has
You throw
started.
in Veleno. You throw in maybe a Rasmussen.
Oh my God.
You throw in a Chalowski, and you throw in a first, and you got 3 seconds. You throw in a first, a second, and a third. And all of a sudden, it is electric at Little Caesars Arena. Well, maybe not inside because there's no fans. But, Matt, there will be people wearing masks, watching TVs to watch Patrick Kane play with Michael Granlund.
Can we go back to talking about that Michael Granlund pick? Because I love that.
I think it's out there, Matt. I think if he gets really upset with the Blackhawks, Yzerman's right there.
I feel like Kramer right now. Oh, it's out there.
Yzerman's got his Cody Rhodes ear going. He's like, come on, I got young forwards up the wazoo. And Matt, even if you are giving up some of your young guys, we still got where's my boy at? I just wrote his name down. We got Matthias Brome just sitting there. He's just locking him up, man.
Nope. Look,
our 26-year-old puppy loaned out. Him back.
We don't even have the space right now to make that work.
You know what? If it's Patrick Kane, you make it work.
No, you don't, because he's.
You make it work, man.
There's even the Blackhawks are like, this isn't enough for us to be competitive anymore. But yeah,
but you get a first-round pick from the Red Wings. Okay,
I can't believe that you are suggesting we get rid of a first-round pick for this.
Listen, our picks are not as valuable as like the New York Rangers picks, right? Who are going to get the number one pick.
You could trade it go for Matt Barzal instead.
Why do I want Matt Barzal when I could get Patrick Kane?
Oh my God! All right,
come on,
Mike. I'm so angry right now with you. I can't even.
You know what? I don't want to hear about your anger because if he was a Red Wing, you'd be getting a jersey the next night.
No, hell no.
You'd be getting a little hat that says Kane and Hellfire and Brimstone on it.
Nope.
Like WWE style.
Oh my God.
All right, so we can do the boring Michael Granlund and everything's responsible, and then next season, maybe we'll call some guys up and watch our guys get some seasoning in the minor leagues, or you go all in.
This sounds like you hit that point where you're like, I can't do it anymore. I can't talk about this team anymore. So now you've just completely lost it. You're bringing up these insane. No,
they're not that insane.
No.
Emotions are high. Steve's mad at the draft lottery process. Patrick Kane is furious with the Blackhawks. We've seen Steve do some crazy stuff with Martin Saint-Louis.
Right. That's the other thing.
This is his Martin Saint-Louis move.
Now you're helping
but in reverse.
Not only are you losing what Yzerman said, where he's like, get me draft picks. Now you're also helping the Blackhawks by giving them our first round pick, which will probably be a lottery pick.
Yeah, but we've seen that you're going to get the Lucas Raymond. Oh, okay, he's good. But you know what I'm saying? The Red Wings don't have good luck in that draft lottery. So screw it. We're out.
There's so many different names you could.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a guy who's on the block and he's going to be mad. And potentially, the reason I'm bringing this up is if he gets mad enough and he's like, I only want to play for 1 or 2 teams, I'm out. You figure out a way to make this move happen, or I'm just sitting here on the pine. You might be able to get a little bit of a discount, like an angry discount, because he wants to be an out-of-town deal. And he's only signed for like 3 more years. So I know you're upset about his age, but that kind of lines up with where Larkin and Mantha and probably, Bertuzzi are going to be lining up contract-wise. It's not as bananas as you think.
But then we're paying him for that takes away all of our flexibility for the next 3 years, where we could still weaponize the cap and sign other guys to shorter contracts.
It's one contract. It's like $1 million from working this year, and then next year you're still going to have all those guys dropping off, so you still will have flexibility to fill out the roster, and you have all these young guys sitting there with all their peddly $937K that you can call up. So then you'll, give them another year's seasoning. You fill it out with some rookies, and this is what you do. You get a superstar and fill it out with some goofs.
This is the moment where I hate COVID the most.
You fill it out with some Jake Gensels.
This is the moment I hate COVID the most because I want to strangle you so bad right now. I
I thought you might give me a hug for such a
more.
good idea.
I've never wanted to murder someone more. And because of COVID, I can't. I don't want to break any COVID quarantine rules, so I can't murder you.
Like, the whole reason that you take first round picks is so you can have top flight players. And if you could trade a first for Patrick Kane, you wouldn't do it.
No, because you get a first round pick because it's a much lower
You cross
risk.
your fingers.
Because
you hope
the
that
financial,
he turns out.
the
You hope
financial
that he
aspect,
turns out like Patrick Kane.
the financial risk is much lower, and you have potential to make other moves. You've eliminated the other moves. All right, I can't. I'm so mad at you right now. Oh my god. This webcam is seconds away from being thrown across. Like, I just want to destroy it just so I can not see you right now. Oh, I guess I'd have to destroy my new laptop. All right, here we go.
What's great is that if you break your computer, that means I can start doing solo shows about Patrick Kane being a Red Wing.
Just change that to the logo before anything. Yeah. I mean, he's going to stick around and be a Blackhawk, I think, until the end of that contract, because nobody wants to touch that thing.
It's not that bad. A superstar. Like, he's not a good player. He's a superstar, Matt. A superstar, not a good player, a superstar.
Mike, if I was icing a team in NHL 21, I would do it. Because who knows how many seasons I'm going to play in NHL 21. Mike, it's time to talk about NHL 21.
Let's talk about the first move I would make in NHL 21.
Yeah, Mike, what did you do with your Red Wings franchise in NHL 21? Because I think we all know that you traded 2 first-round picks for Patrick Kane.
It was actually a collection of seconds and a gentleman's kept off. And the Blackhawks agreed for some salary dump reasons. So it really worked out well for my virtual Red Wings team.
Oh, my God. All right. So I want to jump in first because this is how many years has it been since you've played the NHL franchise? Has it been over a decade?
Pavel Bure was the best player in the game.
Jesus, it's been that long?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's been quite a learning curve, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You can't just hit the speed burst button anymore. There isn't a speed burst button.
Well, you gotta click down on your left joystick.
I guess there's a speed burst button. That's how good I am at this game. I've been missing out on that. It's essentially been me doing the same play ad nauseum, where I have one guy go right, and then I wait for a one-timer on the left, and that's how I get 90% of my goals.
So that's actually part of my issues with it, and I couldn't. I'm struggling so much with this game. I'm totally like I think I've gone multiple years in franchise mode of 82-0 for like every game going back, and you win your Stanley Cup, and I go, yeah. I think I've lost some of the playoff games because it actually does get a little bit harder. But I mean, I've started out now in the game in franchise mode. I am like 3-4-1, so that's me only winning 3 out of 8 games. It is so goddamn effing hard, and I'm gonna have some fun here. I actually recorded.
No. We're
Let's
gonna watch a clip of you playing.
There we go.
Okay, there's a good.
Oh no!
Stoppage. Did you record a stoppage and play? Like,
Yeah.
What's that for?
That's all it is. It's just a stoppage.
Right, here's a face off here. Okay.
Anyways, so everybody can watch how terrible I am.
Matt
right
wins
now.
the face
But
off.
I can't. What? Look at me try and get
Cross
through.
up the blue line. What kind of shot was that, Matt? You had a bad angle. That's terrible.
I struggle so much to get set up in the zone. Like the poke check in this game is insane. I can't get through. Look at this. What? I was just trying to dump it, and they knocked the puck out of the air, and they're like, nope. I think I've given up so many second, third, and fourth chance opportunities in this game. It's insane. But maybe I should stop sharing this. People are gonna think I really suck. Anyway, I do. What did I just say? I'm 3-8 or 3-5. And
you just disqualified every opinion you've ever shared. I'm sorry.
So there's been updates that came out, but Mike, I'm angry at how difficult this is. Look at that shot. Look at it. It's just incredible. Their checking ability is insane.
You know,
And
it looks like you need Patrick Kane on your team because he
Oh,
can
shut
skate right past most of those poke checks.
Yeah, if you guys want to check out how terrible I am, I started sharing the videos on our YouTube page, which is the Brothers of Discussion. But yeah, let's get back to the meat of the bone.
We don't need to see more evidence.
Right.
Yikes.
I don't want
Oof.
anybody to see the next couple of goals go
Now,
up.
what we
They're
should
pretty
do,
gross.
what we need is a video of my shrewd negotiation skills, Yzerman style, when I got Patrick Kane without including a first. Pretty impressive.
Did you really trade for Patrick Kane?
You bet your ass I did.
God.
I saw that it was in the rumor mill in real life, so I was like, you know what? Me too, Steve. Me too. Watch this.
But I simulated that first season just so I could get another lottery pick, and then I traded for another first rounder, and that didn't go so hot because I actually traded Mantha and Bertuzzi for first round picks because they didn't want to sign with me anymore. So I was like, fine, get out of here. I don't need you. Anyways,
I traded them both for third rounders because I was just, you know what? That's what you're worth to me. I was pretty upset when they wouldn't resign. So
well, let me kind of.
I turned down more lucrative offers to send a message.
Let me get my head wrapped around my thoughts on this.
All right, we got to wrap it up because we're at
mode,
56 minutes, man. What do you got?
Yeah, the franchise mode I think is broken, and I hope they're going to fix it because not only is the gameplay, I can get around the idea of just that I suck because I do become addicted to the NHL game, so it hasn't stopped me from like it being so hard. I just keep going in and I just keep losing, so that's what's going on. But when I want to improve my team, the problem with the franchise mode is the trades they are actually cited for us. If you go into that trade deadline day, I just waited. I got offers for Philip Zadina in my latest trade deadline that were 2 first rounders and a second rounder for Philip Zadina. And to me, I'm kind of like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I'll take that. No problem. I feel like we're still rebuilding.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So if you're patient and you wait all day in that trade deadline thing, it'll work out in your favor. I just don't think that should work out that way. So I think that's broken. But the worst thing, Mike, is that when you're looking at draft prospects, it automatically will scout guys that are projected as like the 700th prospect. Like they're ranked they're how many 200 some draft picks. They're ranked in the 700s in the thousands. So they have all these made up players that you can scout. That's how deep it goes. And that's where the game defaults is to scout those guys. So everything about franchise mode, I would say I'd give that a D-. Even though I'm addicted and I'm still going to play, it is a pain in the ass after every game to reset what your scout is doing so that you don't waste. So I simulated that first season to get my lottery pick. Nobody was scouted except for guys that were in the 700s and later. Because I thought, I don't need to do this. I'm just going to draft one of the top 10 guys. Yeah. And it turns out I did have to ask him to scout. So that to me gets a D-. Mike, the Be a Pro mode, I'm going to give a B+ because it's still mixed with that terrible gameplay. And I do like the elements of the role-playing elements where you're actually building up your character and you can go to different skill trees and make your character better, not just by playing well in the season, but putting together the right elements so that you can build out. Like my guy is like 6'7", 230 pounds. His name's still Matt, but he's going to be a power forward. But I'm also upgrading all of like his deking stuff and the speed stuff. So he's just going to be an absolute beast once he gets to the NHL. I would like some more flexibility on like which team you get to go to because I did get drafted by the New York Rangers and that really killed my interest in continuing the Be a Pro mode. Yeah. But I again, B+ there. I think it still has a long way to go to be as good as like the basketball game, but I'm happy with the improvements they made.
I like because I love the basketball game, but I do think that I wish that they would steal that idea for trade deadline day. And I think the NBA would, find a way to really, make it fascinating because that's historically a day where a lot of crazy stuff happens, especially, even for Detroit. So I think that's a high point for the NHL's franchise mode. But the scouting is a complete nightmare. It's almost like they just go in alphabetical order. And I guess we'll start with Anders Anderson with AA to start, his first and last name. And you have to explain to your scouts let's take a look at Alexei Lafreniere. What do you think of that?
Right.
Hold on there. We got to do the AA's first before we go to the guys you've actually heard of. And I appreciate my scouts taking a look at Keenan Draper, but I kind of want to see what I'm going to do at the first round, because that's the guy who's actually going to make the team.
I wish they'd look at Keenan Draper. They're looking at guys
he's
from
an
other
improvement
planets.
over Anders Anderson. But yeah, that scouting needs a little help. And I will say that there's a pretty big learning curve to moving with the left stick, and then the right stick is essentially almost all your stick handling until you add in another button. So it's such a all-purpose device. It's a little unique. I think to think about, there used to be pass button, shoot button, slap shot button, wrist shot button, stuff like that. And now to do almost everything with, that one stick, and then you just kind of manipulate what you're doing, with like a trigger button. There's a little bit of a learning curve for sure. So it's almost to the point where the learning curve, I should probably just go in the backyard and learn some real stick handling, like Pavel Datsyuk, like with an egg, because it's that tough to master.
Even for me, like the rugby goals are just not gonna happen for me. I don't see that. I'm sorry, I just said rugby goals, the lacrosse goals. I just went. What's the game that douchebags
you mean you
play?
just crash into the goalie?
One of those two. Yeah, the lacrosse goal is so freaking difficult.
The other thing I missed too is, like you said, with the poke checking, like they made the defense I think forcing you to really focus on your angles. I get why they're doing it to, say that's a more realistic game, but that for me is almost like, turning on ESPN4 and watching real boxing, where it's just mostly like, defensive maneuvers. Right. Where what I want is Rocky 3 and 4, where there's just huge slobber knocker open ice hits. And those take so much timing. And I can't tell you how many times my guy's just checking open air and hitting a ghost, and there's a 3-on-1 break going the other way. So I really miss the Rocky 3 element in the hockey game. But I get why they're doing it, but it makes me want to play NHL 94 again.
Well, I think that's an option too, isn't it? Or I might be wrong. Yeah.
It's I just wish I could. I don't know. I want more of a medley of both, I guess. I don't know.
Well, yeah, again, I'm going to give it right now. I think they can update the game, but that's like the last thing you want to do when you're scoring something is say, well, they'll probably update it and it'll get better. But right now, as a guy who buys this game every year out of habit, I think I can just go ahead and be honest and tell y'all if you're somebody that doesn't buy this every year, this is the year to skip it. It's easy to see with all of the bugs and the way the gameplay works now. I mean, I can give this an easy C-, no problem.
Wow. I will give it, like for fun. And I really like the way they set up the, like you build your own, menu, and you can go to hockey school. It was almost like they knew that I was buying this game. So I will say that knowing that I was getting it, it felt like it was for me, like the initial design. I'll give that a B. But for like a difficulty learning curve and feeling like I mastered everything, I feel like I got to keep going to school. And a few times with some of the skills, I kept trying to do what they requested, and I wasn't even looking at the screen anymore. I was holding the controller and doing it, and it felt like it wasn't succeeding until I watched a YouTube video, and a guy's like, "Oh yeah, it's because you got to hit left first." and then I would hit left first and immediately do the little skill request that they wanted.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the idea behind it was a B, but the actual execution on a lot of the items is kind of like a D-. I got pretty mad. Thank God for YouTube.
It's definitely like, think about me and my the way I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm someone who buys this every year, and I'm still looking at it going like, wow, they don't want anybody new to come to this game. Like, they're still like they really push you far away if somebody wants to start playing now. Like, they really start you at the bottom, and it's at this point, you know, we've been learning every year how to play the game. At this point, it's probably too late. If you either have to be like 8 years old and getting started this year, or it's just
you gotta have that fresh, youthful, spongy brain where you can retain new information. But for me, I'm still trying to dribble at center ice and keep turning it over. So it's been a learning experience for sure.
Well, I've got one more thing to talk about, Mike, and then we'll wrap up. It's the giveaway that we're doing with the Hockey Podcast Network. Let me share this here so you guys can all take a peek. We're giving away an authentic Adidas jersey. You can pick what you want, but we're assuming Red Wings is the direction you're going.
Red Wings Patrick Kane jersey.
You want to go to at BOD Hockey. We have this tweet pinned. You need to retweet this post and follow us and at HockeyPodNet. So all those links are on the tweet. If you want to get in there, I mean, we're not asking much. All you got to do is follow and then retweet this. So if you're following us on Twitter, just go ahead and retweet the post. And then, if you have any buddies that might be interested, you can always attach them to the post. And if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, head on over to at BOD Hockey and go to our pinned tweets to see this guy and get a chance to win an authentic Adidas Red Wings jersey. So easy as pie there. But with that, Mike, I think it's time we sail off. Gonna go eat some muffins. I got a message from my wife that she made some cinnamon streusel muffins. So I'm gonna go to town on those. And we will see y'all next week.
Goodbye, everyone. I'm gonna sneeze. All right.